Welcome back, everyone. Let me start today with a little bit of honesty, because I think a lot of you will relate to this feeling. The market can be brutally frustrating. You wake up, check your portfolio, and the first thought that comes to mind is, when is this thing finally going to pump? That question lingers in the back of every investor's head when things are slow. Over the last week, when I compared all the coins in my portfolio, there was really only one asset that consistently gave me green gains, and that was a token literally called Pump. Funny, right? The one thing going up in my portfolio was the thing that had Pump in the name. I know it sounds ironic, but it was a reminder that even in slow markets, there are always pockets of action. I think Pump is still green even today, but regardless, the point is that while the broader market drags, every now and then a smaller player steals the spotlight. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing I've said here should be taken as financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions, and never invest more than you're willing to lose. Now, let's shift focus to ZBCN because this is where things get important. Today is not just another regular day. It marks the end of a very significant unlock period for the token. After today, the pace at which new tokens hit the market will be cut in half. That matters more than most people realize because supply dynamics are a huge driver of price action. When a large percentage of tokens get unlocked at once, it creates sell pressure. Early investors or insiders who receive those unlocked tokens often decide to cash out, and that puts downward pressure on the price. But when unlocks slow down, the opposite effect kicks in suddenly. The constant weight pushing against the market is lighter, and the token has more room to breathe and eventually move upward. The longer they stay coiled in one position, the bigger the eventual release. Consolidation works in the same way. The longer ZBCN trades sideways, the more pressure builds for a breakout. Nobody can say with certainty exactly when that will happen. Maybe it happens this week, maybe it takes another month, but eventually those sideways ranges give way to strong directional moves. And with ZBCN, my conviction is that we'll eventually not only retest old highs, but break past them into new territory. I say that because the fundamentals and the community narrative haven't gone away. They're still here, waiting for the right spark. Uphold, a well-known exchange, recently posted about holding ZBCN in a bullish context. That's not random. Exchanges are careful about which assets they publicly highlight, and when they start putting their weight behind a token, it usually means they see volume, interest, or a community worth engaging with. To top it off, ZBCN is scheduled to host a Spaces event with Uphold later this month. That matters because those conversations attract new eyes and reinforce the story around the project. These are the little things that help build momentum. When I look at projects I want to invest in, I don't just stare at charts, I look at the ecosystem, the team, and the community. That's what really sustains a project long term. Now, let's bring it back to reality because I know most of you are wondering about one thing: the price. At the end of the day, people don't invest in crypto because they love the idea of digital assets in theory. They want to see their investments grow. They want to make money. That's the hard truth. So the obvious question that everyone asks is, when is the price going to move up? That's why token unlock schedules are so important to understand. On September 15th, ZBCN saw a maximum supply unlock of about 2.12%. That's a pretty decent amount of tokens entering circulation all at once, which adds natural sell pressure. But the good news is that after this event, the pace slows dramatically. From here until March, the unlock rate is only 1% per period. That's less than half of what we just went through, which means the market won't be hit with the same kind of constant selling. Trading volume is up over 22%, showing that despite the frustration and the dips, people are still participating. They're still buying, still trading, still paying attention. And once this big unlock is behind us, that constant wave of new supply hitting the market will finally ease. That's when I expect the conditions to improve and the token to start moving back toward higher levels. Of course, markets are unpredictable. Some people are convinced this event will lead to a huge breakout, while others are worried it will turn into another buy the rumor, sell the news situation where price actually dips after the unlock. That's always possible. But here's my view. If the broader crypto market stays green in the coming days, ZBCN is set up to fly. Let's take a step back and look at the numbers. Right now, the token is sitting at about 0.39 cent. On the year, it's up an impressive 187%. That's a massive return if you zoom out. But short term, things look less exciting. In the last 24 hours, it's down nearly 3%. Over the past week, it's down about 7.5%. And over the last month, it has slid almost 15%. Its market cap sits at around $356 million, which is relatively modest compared to the giants in this industry. And let's not forget, ZBCN is only down about 50% from its all-time highs. While that might sting for anyone who bought the top, it's actually not bad compared to many other altcoins. Some projects are still sitting 70, 80, even 90% below their highs. The fact that ZBCN has held up this well speaks to the strength of its base. That doesn't erase the frustration, but it should put things in perspective. Now let's talk psychology, because this is where so many investors go wrong. People get frustrated with sideways action and start looking for greener pastures. They see another coin pumping, they panic, and they sell out of their core holdings to chase the pump. 9 times out of 10, what happens next? They buy that hot coin right near its top, the momentum cools down, and then it crashes. They're left with losses from both ends, selling low on their first coin and buying high on the new one. I've watched it happen over and over again in this space, and it's one of the main reasons so many retail investors never manage to come out ahead. The truth is, real investors, the ones who build lasting wealth in crypto, don't play that game. They understand that investing means riding through both good and bad cycles. You can't just celebrate when your portfolio is green and disappear when it's red. If you actually believe in the fundamentals of a project, the bad times are the best times because they give you buying opportunities. Every dip is a chance to build a stronger position if your conviction is real. That's how you win long term. Those 3 factors are what make me confident about its long-term potential. Look at what happened earlier this month in September. Despite all the volatility, ZBCN's narrative stayed intact. The energy, the hype, the conversations, none of that disappeared. That's critical because projects without strong narratives often fade into the background during bear phases. ZBCN hasn't. But the reality is the unlock schedule created extra weight, and now that weight is about to get lighter. That's why I'm looking ahead to October with optimism. By October 15th, things could look very different. With the unlocks dropping from over 2% to just 1%, the pressure will be cut in half. And when the market shifts like that, it can create big moves very quickly. Now, don't get me wrong. The overall crypto market isn't exactly on fire right now. A lot of big-name altcoins are also trading sideways. SEI, Ondos, SW, pick your favorite, they're not doing much either. So this isn't just a ZBCN story. The entire altcoin sector is kind of stuck in neutral at the moment. But that's what sets up the next rally. Frustration builds, people get impatient, and then suddenly money rotates back into altcoins. When that happens, the projects with smaller market caps, strong communities, and ongoing narratives are usually the first to explode. And ZBCN fits that profile almost perfectly. Sitting at a market cap under $400 million, backed by an active community and visible support from platforms like Uphold, it has the potential to capture serious upside when sentiment flips. So in summary, yes, the last few weeks have been frustrating, but this is all part of the cycle. Unlocks are almost always followed by relief once the supply shock passes, and with ZBCN's unlock schedule getting cut in half, the stage is being set for a strong recovery. It's not about guessing which day the pump arrives. It's about understanding the bigger picture and having the patience to stick around until it happens. Another thing I really want to stress here is the importance of patience. Crypto is the one industry where people expect millionaire-level returns overnight. They'll hold a stock for 10 years without flinching, but if a coin doesn't double in 2 weeks, they start panicking and calling it dead. That's a mindset that almost guarantees failure. The truth is, Cycles in crypto operate on a bigger time frame than people realize. Bitcoin, the king of this entire market, takes years to move from one halving cycle to the next. Altcoins like ZBCN are tied into that same rhythm. When Bitcoin consolidates, altcoins consolidate. It's also important to remember that crypto rewards those who can handle emotional discipline. Markets are designed to shake out the weak hands. Every dip, every red candle, every sideways week is there to test your conviction. If you really believe in the fundamentals of ZBCN or any project you're invested in, you have to train yourself to treat dips as opportunities instead of disasters. That's what separates the investor who comes out of the next bull market with life-changing returns from the one who ends up with nothing but regrets. One of the things I find most encouraging is that even during these frustrating weeks, the community engagement hasn't died down. People are still posting, still discussing, still showing up for events. That's powerful. A token can survive bad price action if it has a loyal community. But without that community, no amount of hype or exchange listings will save it. ZBCN has demonstrated that loyalty again and again. And when we look back on these moments a year from now, we'll realize that this was the foundation being built while others were distracted. Something else worth mentioning is that ZBCN's market cap puts it in a sweet spot. At around $356 million, it's not a microcap that could vanish overnight, but it's also not a multi-billion-dollar behemoth that can only move a few percentage points at a time. It's right in the middle, where the upside is still massive, but the foundation is strong enough to survive turbulence. If you think about the top altcoins in past bull runs, many of them started in this same range before going on to become household names. That's why I say the potential here is massive, because history shows us how quickly coins in this range can multiply once sentiment flips. Now let's talk about narratives, because narratives drive crypto more than any chart ever will. In 2017, it was ICOs. In 2020, it was DeFi. In 2021, it was NFTs and metaverse plays. In 2024 and beyond, the narrative is shifting towards real utility, payments, and sustainable tokenomics. ZBCN is positioned well within that shift because its model aligns with long-term usability rather than just hype. And when the broader market starts rewarding projects that can actually deliver, ZBCN could be one of the leaders of that narrative. It's also worth highlighting the psychology of frustration. Right now, we're in that stage of the cycle where many investors are exhausted. They've been holding, waiting, hoping, and yet prices haven't rewarded their patience, at least not in the short term. This is exactly the stage where most people sell too early. They give up right before the real move begins. It's like running a marathon, stopping at mile 25 and never reaching the finish line. The market has always operated this way, and it always will. Those who endure the frustration phases are the ones who reap the rewards when the breakout finally comes. And make no mistake, breakouts always come. Crypto doesn't move sideways forever. Eventually, all that energy builds up and releases, and when it does, people forget the pain of the red days almost instantly. The same voices that are calling a project dead during consolidation will be the first to FOMO back in when it starts climbing. That's why I keep repeating this. If you know what you hold, and you believe in its future, you don't let temporary dips shake you out. October is shaping up to be a key month. With the token unlock schedule shifting from over 2% down to just 1%, the sell pressure will be lighter, and that could allow organic demand to start taking control again. We might not see fireworks immediately, but the market is a machine of probabilities, and probabilities favor a stronger recovery when supply shocks ease. Couple that with an active community, consistent mentions from platforms like Uphold, and broader anticipation around the next crypto bull cycle, and the ingredients for a strong upward move are all there. Think of it like building a campfire. Right now, we've got the wood stacked neatly. The community is the fuel, the unlock reduction is the lighter fluid, and the broader market is the spark. Once those elements align, the fire spreads fast. That's why I'm not discouraged by these weeks of red or sideways action. To me, this is just the quiet before the storm. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit the like button, Share this video with others who follow the ZBCN journey, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives and updates. The road in crypto is never smooth, but if you stay informed and stay consistent, you'll always be ahead of the curve. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.